Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Freaky Fast Broadcasting, where tonight we have the ARCA Evolution Series kicking off their 2021 season here at the Daytona International Speedway with our Daytona Duels here for 25-lap duels here to figure out where these guys are going to start for their season kickoff next week here at Daytona. So it's going to be one heck of a show here up in the booth, and we're glad to have you along with us. And remember, as always, the Evolution Racing Leagues is brought to you by Or Nissan Central, the leading Nissan dealership in Oklahoma City. So we got one spectacular show ahead of you fans out there tonight, as we got a lot of events. We have the two dual races for our ARCA Evolution Series. Then we head off to the RSR Cup Series, where we have the Clash, and then we have two more duels after that. So we got 5 Daytona races for you tonight here at Freaky Fast, and we're happy to have it here with the Evolution Racing League, because these guys put on one heck of a show each and every week. So we want to thank you all for tuning in. I'm Zach Hall up in the booth calling the shots. Along with me will be my colleague Brandon Colley, and running these beautiful camera shots we have here at Freaky Fast will be Robert Moyer Jr. up here in the booth. So it's gonna be one heck of a night. Brandon, what do we expect for these Daytona duels with these ARCA cars, man?
A lot of side-by-side racing. Not quite enough room at Daytona as you've got at Talladega, but I would care to wager they're going to shoot it 3 wide before too long here. Not for points, just for fun and qualifying position for the Daytona race to kick off the start of their season. So these guys are going to have a little bit of fun, and hopefully we don't see a big one that takes out a lot of cars.
Yeah, these things can be very tricky too with the way the bumpers and the front bumper aligns on these cars. So you're going to see some tricky situations play out here early in this race that possibly could get you in some early trouble here at the Daytona International Speedway. So we'll have to see how these guys can transverse that. And like you said, the big one's always lurking in the background, and we got to be watching out for that thing for sure.
Yeah, you talked about the shape of the nose with these cars and bump drafting. It's not the best idea with these ARCA cars. It can be done, but you have to be so careful doing it. Really, the best method for these particular cars is to get just close enough that you're not touching, but that bubble of air that you would create is what's creating the speed, and not you actually physically pushing the car in front of you. Because you talk about the shape of the nose, and these things will jack the rear end of the car in front of you off the ground, and they'll go around very quickly. It doesn't take very much.
We got some really cool things coming up here in the 2021 season here with the ARCA series, especially. These are some the awards and rewards for winning the series, and also they have a highest non-playoff driver, and they also have team points. So this is what your champion will receive this season here in 2021 for the Evolution Racing League's ARCA series. And the series champion will receive $200 of sim racing equipment of their choice. So they'll be able to go out there and find some sim racing equipment worth $200, and Evolution Racing Leagues will provide that for them. They also get a ButtKicker LFE, so that's really cool to see that too, and also $50 of cash. So very, very nice prizes for winning the season champion here at the ARCA series. Then you have your highest non-playoff driver will be a ButtKicker LFE and $50 cash. So also receive that. Then from the ARCA team points situation, the winning team the ARCA series will win a custom T-shirt with their team logos and car numbers on it. So they'll get a little custom merch there made for them, and so they got some really cool prizes coming up in 2021 that we'll have to pay attention to all the points. As last season we did with the ARCA series, it was more of a figuring things out series where we didn't really worry about points as much. But this year in 2021, they're really kicking it off with the ARCA series. It's going to come down to a big competition between these guys to see, who can place themselves on top of that pecking order and possibly get noticed by a Cup team to possibly move them up to the Cup Series at some point. So, the way the Evolution Racing League works, you got a charter system in the Cup. To make it the Cup, you have to have an open charter open, and you have to, impress the Cup Series teams out there to, pull an ARCA driver up. So we'll have to see how that all shakes out. Maybe see if anybody that happens to them throughout the season. As right now, we are in Duel 1 qualifying with 2 minutes remaining to see who will win the Sheffield Graphics poll. As right now, David Edwards, actually, to say that, Lon Coleman just jumped to the top of the board. So we got the fast times being put down right now here at the Daytona International Speedway.
Yeah, and as normal, qualifying for Daytona or Talladega, the qualifying times are always super close. It's just, normally a couple hundredths to a thousandth of a second that is separating any given position. And we're seeing that already with the first five cars, all within about half a tenth of each other. Uh, Man, qualifying for a qualifying race doesn't mean much, but best way to stay out of trouble at Daytona is keep up front. If you can start there, the rest of the race seems pretty easy.
Very, very true there, Brandon. You got to stay up front to keep yourself out of that trouble because 25 laps, we got to remember, that's not very long. A lot of stuff can happen in that 25 laps to where you can move your way up. And these ARCA cars do got some interesting drafting that you can use to be able to maneuver yourself there. You're probably not going to see as big of runs as we'll see from the Cups series later on, but you still can get some pretty big runs in these ARCA cars. But I wouldn't expect to see too much, issues on the track. But like I said, the way the bumpers line up in these cars, you give a person a wrong shot. Is actually Richard Gonzalez jumps to second on the board now too. Also, you give a person a wrong shot in these things, man, and it can really, really be detrimental. So we'll have to see if that can be the cause of a big one, and that could set you back for going into next week's Daytona race with having to start farther back. And that could definitely play a big factor in how your race plays out next Tuesday. So gotta qualify well here tonight and put yourself in a good position because, like you said, Brandon, we're qualifying right now for a qualifying race, but it is important. It is very, very important to get the best spot you can for that next race coming up.
Absolutely, and like I talked about, the hundredths and thousandths of a second for qualifying. Difference between second and third right now, a thousand. Difference between fourth and fifth, 2,000s. So these guys are right on top of each other. This is going to be one heck of a race, I think, Zach.
That very well it should be, my friend. And looks like Lon Coleman, our Sheffield Graphics Pole Award winner, but I do not believe he is on our Discord here at the moment. So don't like we're about to get a chat in here with our pole setter, but congrats to him on winning the Sheffield Graphics Pole Award here tonight at the Evolution Racing Leagues. And we will move on now to our starting grid. As you can see, Lon Coleman there starting in the first position. Second's going to go to Richard Gonzalez. Third there is David Edwards. Fourth will be Harold Rothbury. Fifth is going to be Zach Sandlin. Sixth is going to be Josh Holmes. Seventh there, Justin Malarkey. Eighth, Kevin Dowd. Ninth is going to go to Stephen Baldwin. Stephen Carey starting in the 10th position. 11th, Matt Upbrook. 12th will be Steve Jennings. 13th, Hunter Hayward. 14th, Garrett Fox. Ryan Ezel will start in the 15th position, followed by Michael Haru in the 16th position. 17th will be Buddy Pitts, and rounding out your field here tonight for the 18th position will be Steve Potter.
Oh man, I don't envy these guys. It's just a qualifying race, but really any race at a plate track is just nerve-wracking. No matter where you start, because something can go wrong from anywhere in the field. You're not safe until that flag comes out.
Never safe at the Daytona International Speedway. That's a fact. This place can eat you up and spit you right back out because at any time, man, you're just so compressed together with these restrictor plate type tracks that one mistake happens from one driver or two drivers get into it. You could be minding your own business running near the back, and all of a sudden you're completely piled up into a huge wreck, and stuff happens so fast when it comes to these type of tracks, man.
It really does, and visibility doesn't really help any of that very much, because when you're tucked in behind another car, or anybody who's got any kind of experience on iRacing who's more than likely run a plate race, you can't see much past the car ahead of you. So you'll see some guys, slipping out and just trying to get a view of what's going on ahead of them a little bit. It might look like they're swerving, but they're just trying to get a little bit extra view to know what's coming ahead of them.
Very good to see these guys rolling off a pit road to get the season kicked off here at the ARCA Evolution Series. I'm super excited. We've been away for a while now on Tuesdays. We've had these Tuesdays off for since really December started. So it's gonna be fun to get this all back kicked off here in 2021 and have the Cup Series and the ARCA Series back on Tuesday nights on Freaking Fast Broadcasting. And I'm sure these guys out here on the track are even excited too to get this thing kicked off.
Yeah, Ryan just came over. Ryan and Zell just came over the radio, gave us a shout out, and said they were happy to have us on board. And likewise, got to echo Zach's sentiments here, and can't wait to see the season you guys put on and be able to call every bit of it. Looking forward to it.
That we are looking forward to every bit of it here in 2021. To have another great year here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, because 2020, wow, that was a tongue tire. 2020 was, not the greatest year for the world really, but for Freaky Fast, we definitely had a lot of great moments this past year, and we're hoping to keep growing on that here as we go into 2021. So it's going to be a fun year as these guys head down towards the restart zone, and that pace car takes the hard left turn down to Pace Road.
Green flag.
And there it is. Green flag is in the air. Lon will take us down the front straightaway here, side by side with Richard Gonzalez. A lot of movement in the back here. Some guys getting into the bottom lane. We'll see what lane dominates so far as they head down to turn 1 here to start this Daytona Duel number 1 for the ARCA Evolution Series.
It was a pretty calm restart. Had one driver decide to make that really early move to the bottom, and a little bit of a bumper, but at low speeds, that's not a too big of an issue, and everybody's off cleanly. Zach, it seems like if you can get a good number of cars that are really in line with each other, that high side can work out wonderfully, and especially if you can make that third line work, that's my favorite place to be. And I feel like if you can find guys that can run up there and keep it off the fence, you can get
We'll have to see, like you said, which lane is the key lane here so far. And if you can get the numbers up there, like you were saying, Brandon, you really can get that top rolling. So we'll have to see if that top can get rolling. I'm a big fan when the top works, just because it just makes the racing so much more competitive out here at Daytona. We'll have to see here in the night lights if it works out all right. As right now, you got the 12 of Lon Coleman there, continuing to hold on to this lead with the 15 of David Edwards directly in tow.
Yeah, a little bit of a jostling back here. That high side getting a really good run off of 2 that time. The 6 of Richard Gonzalez just able to edge out the nose. Not quite clear to be able to jump down, as now Lon Coleman's going to charge back to the inside.
Controlling the lead as Lon Coleman in the 12 machine started from the pole position. Can he continue to hold on to this as we complete lap number 2 here at the Daytona International Speedway, side by side, all the way through, all the way back to 14th. This field is stacked up right here, and this is some great racing we're seeing earlier. Both lanes looking pretty good, but I can tell you what, we're seeing a little bit of looks like instability from the cars almost, because you can't get too, like we said with the bumpers, you can't get too close to someone, especially in the corners. That'll send them directly around, but I see a lot of movement, so this could be interesting here. Is actually the 6 there, a good run down the back straight. Looks like he's going to clear the bottom lane. Does he pull down, decides other, and stays up top with Harold in the 4?
Yeah, it looked like he found a good drafting partner there in the 4. Didn't want to leave him out to dry, which sometimes, especially in a short race like this, it is only lap 3 of 25. There's still plenty of time, but eventually you're just going to have to say, sorry, man, I couldn't bring you with me. I got to take my chance here, but opted not to do that time.
3 laps in the books so far here at the Daytona International Speedway here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting with the ARCA Evolution Series. 22 to go. Like you said, quick race. Got to make things happen here if you want to get it done with these 14 guys out here. It'll be very interesting to see how this plays out, as the front 2 lanes have stayed directly side by side throughout this whole entire start of this event, and the racing is very close and competitive.
Yeah, especially these front 4, 2 guys behind pushing the 4 and the 15. They're getting real close to the bumpers of the 6 and 12, but not quite giving them a nudge, just letting that air do the pushing for them. Whereas the guys third in line are just laying off a good bit more. They're not quite as packed in, just giving them a little bit more space, knowing, hey, if you've got to check up, you've got the space to do so. I'm not going to run you over.
Look at that, side by side all the way throughout this field. Man, it's great racing so far here early at Daytona, but anything can happen, man. The 6 had his chance to get down to the bottom lane, but like you said, he had the good work from the 4, and he wanted to stay with him. Looks like he's going to have another good run there. You can see the 4. He is pretty much giving him a nice good shove down the straightaway to that Budweiser Chevrolet there, as they still side by side. It's really, you want to see what you're seeing here is that bottom lane's going to be better through the corners, but that outside lane's going to get the run down the straightaways.
looking at the back here, I've been keeping an eye on the 85 of Garrett Fox. He's been kind of hopping lanes, trying to figure out a good place to go, and it worked out a little bit. He's only up 2 positions right now, but positions trade back and forth quicker than Pokemon cards in elementary school here at Daytona, so it doesn't matter too much. Uh, but the closer you get to the front, the harder that is to do. Everybody's really trying to hold their spot, and we've seen that the first at least 4 positions on each line are not really moving around way too much. They're just kind of dedicated, trying to see what they can get going.
Ooh, big movement from the top lane. That was the 000. Josh Holmes there on the outside lane had a big shakeup as we look back here too at the 85 of Garrett Fox. And the front sixer kind of broke away a little bit there through that corner. So you're seeing a little bit of separation, but the other pack should be able to close up pretty nicely. But yeah, I gotta compliment you on there on your Pokemon trade. There's great positions. That one's a new one. That was a new one. He might have. I think he's been working during the off season here for some new little sayings, and that one gets my approval.
Yeah, that was completely off the top of the head. I was just reaching for something to say
Wow,
there, and I pulled off the tongue pretty nicely. I'm pretty proud of that one.
this dude's out here freestyling right now. Everybody, this is awesome. This is a great night here to start off. 19 to go already, and you see the 60 is clear again with that 4. And he's still deciding not to drop to that bottom lane. He likes the top, I think.
Well, it seems like he's gotten a really good run every time, and it's just enough, it seems like, especially out of 4 that time, where he's just got the edge over the 12 on the inside. And if he can time that correctly, he doesn't ever need to move down. If he can just get that good run on the last lap and be right where he was, that's all he needs to do, and it's working out pretty well. He's liking the runs that he's getting with the 4, and maybe just he's got a lot of time left, still trying to figure out, hey, can we get a good enough run that we can both clear the inside lane here and hop down to the bottom? Because I trust you to be able to be behind me and push me.
What a start to this event so far, man. These first 8 laps have been super clean and super competitive. And we got to give a shout out to all the fans out there tuning in as we got a nice crowd filing in here for the Evolution Racing League here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. It's been a blast so far to start off these first 8 laps here. So thank you guys for tuning in. Let us know out there in the chat. Say hi. Let us know who you're rooting for. Let us know how your 2021 started off. So we want to get out there and get you guys chatting. And if you got a question too, remember to ask us because we can answer most questions. I imagine if you have any questions about the sim, iRacing, how it works, how just in general racing or anything really, just hit us up out there in the chat boxes, guys. We would love to interact with y'all.
Yeah, especially, meaning of life. The answer is 42. If you don't know that reference, I'm so sorry.
Yes, it is. It actually is. I completely agree.
Oh, a little bit of contact.
Look at it. Contact it is, and no, who is that in the back there? We got
Stephen Baldwin, the 59, got a lot of front damage there.
It's the left front there is pretty much looks almost destroyed. It looks like it's out of place, but it is in place.
Yeah, I could have swore I saw some body paint. Oh, as we get a wreck on the backstretch there.
The 6 of Richard Gonzalez on the outside.
Keep it clean. They keep going. Oh, great heads-up driving by these guys. All it takes is one overreaction by somebody, and that could have been awful. I'm not sure what happened there, but I imagine it was probably a bumper contact that caused that.
That it was. It was the Ford of Harold Roth there. Got into the back of the 6 of Richard Gonzalez, giving him a nice bump draft down the straightaway, and that just hooked the 6 right. That's like we said, these bumpers in these cars don't align up. The rear bumper is so high in the air, it just picks the rear tires off the ground. And I tell you what, Richard Gonzalez did a great job of staying where he's at right now. He actually is in still a decent spot to stay in the strap, but he does have a good bit of damage on that right front. As the 4 now taking the lead, moving down to the bottom of Harold.
Yeah, we will talk about that. Not so much during the cup races. You can really get after some bump drafting there in the corners. It's not that uncommon, but with these things, man, it's just a tiny little touch, and you can almost tell exactly when it happens just by the way the car reacts. It was the 59 comes up through the field, turns the 11, then hooks David Edwards in the 15.
Oh, our first wreck of the evening brought to you by Orny Nissan Central. Our first caution is out, and this field will be frozen as, oh man, that was a a mini big one there is actually Hunter Hayward was taking the lead. We'll have to go back there and check that out on the Freaky Fast replay. As man, oh man, a lot of carnage here in the back of this field. I believe that started right around the first contact of looks like that was trying to get a better shot here.
Like Stephen Baldwin in the 59.
Steven Baldwin, yes, it was at the 59.
It looked like he's just trying to make up some of that ground that he lost earlier and went for a hole and just a little bit of contact with the left rear of the 11 and just kind of cascade from there.
Yeah, it looks like he might have gotten to the 0-1 of Steven Jennings, and just like you said, it just kind of from there it went as man, oh man, what a early wreck here at the Daytona International Speedway with 13 laps to go.
Now we will know very soon. Normally, it's not the case with the ARC Evolution Series. These guys do not have a fast repair, but I think because of the qualifying race, they may have one. But we will see very shortly when these guys come into pit if their car pops back to brand new.
There's zero.
0? Oh, that's really unfortunate then.
Yeah, so a few guys already took it out here, but I tell you what, that's part of the qualifying race. Right now, it looks like we got 6 clean cars. Richard Gonzalez or Kevin Dowd, they're catching up. So is Richard Gonzalez. A few guys with damage they can possibly still get fixed in these truck or in these cars to get them back up to speed. But right now, Hunter Hayward was able to take the lead through all that. Garrett Fox up to second. So those two from 13th and 14th up to there. Matt Upbrook to fourth from 11th. So good job by these cars here to get up to the front of the field.
Absolutely, and that's the gamble you take. Trying to charge back up through the field is you got to hope that something like this doesn't happen in front of you, and you can just squeak by it, and it's right behind you. Did a really good job. We talked about Garrett Fox in the 85. Didn't talk too much about Hunter Hayward in the 21. He's just been kind of riding around and took his opportunity when he got it and was able to get the lead for a timely caution there.
Got himself a nice caution in that 21 machine to get the lead here. But I tell you what, it's going to get all back pretty crazy once we get going again. So he's going to have a whole tough crowd of customers to hold off as we got Richard Gonzalez on pit road in the 6 machine. You got the 15 of David Edwards, who is a lap down. So it looks like his night may be almost over. Zach Sandlin on pit road. Josh Holmes in the 000. The 23 of Kevin Dowd. The 59 of Stephen Baldwin, and the 0-1 of Steve Jennings, as those guys were all caught up in that first caution of the night, brought to you by Warney Sun Central.
Well, I'm surprised to see Justin Malarkey did not come down pit road to get any damage fixed after catching the wall a little bit earlier. He still looks relatively clean, and it almost kind of worked out for him being able to avoid that accident and not get any more damage. So he's definitely still in contention for this thing.
Can never take that away from him. He's there till the very end right now. So Malarkey decided not to pit to get that damage fixed. And like you said, it doesn't look too bad on that 73. So I think he's all right. He may have just lost the draft with the momentum. And that probably been the biggest issue right now. So he'll get lined back up with him, and he will be in the draft now. So that'll definitely help him as duel number 1 here coming quickly to an end here with 12 to go. This thing will be over in a flash of an eye. But before this all goes over, we want to make sure always to give a shout out to the sponsors. And remember, the primary series sponsor here at the Evolution Racing Leagues is Nissan Central, the Oklahoma's #1 Nissan dealer in the heart of Oklahoma City. Also, you have Sheffield Graphics, iRacing's best painter, and they also contribute a portion of their each paint for what you pay for the paint to the Folds of Honor charity. So that's really cool. Backed by veterans for veterans, and it's just a really cool thing. So go check out Sheffield Graphics on Facebook, and you can get some iRacing paint schemes, team logos, and race posters for your doing. And it's all for a good cause, like we said, for the Folds of Honor charity. And also you have ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Sorry about that. Something got in my throat, but
I believe that was air.
Yeah, I don't know. But, I remember with ButtKicker 2, every game deserves a truly immersive experience. The ButtKicker Gamer 2 lets you feel every detail from the subtle footsteps into the rumble of a V10-powered race car, from ambient environmental effects to the power of a nearby explosion. By moving a physical mass instead of only air, the Gamer 2 provides instant, accurate, powerful base response, and it's all perfectly synced with every game with no additional software required. So remember to go check out ButtKicker and their ButtKicker Gamer 2 at buttkicker.com and use FreakyFast20 to get 20% off of any purchase there. So you can let them know that we sent you there. And thank you to all the kind sponsors out here from Evolution Racing League and Freaky Fast Broadcasting as these guys get ready to go back green flag racing as the pace car pulls in. And we'll have 10 laps to go and duel number 1 here for the ARCA Evolution Series as Hunter Hayward leads us to the green flag as they cross the line. Oh, look at that move from the 16 of Matt Upbrook down to the bottom lane.
Yeah, he saw a hole, took advantage of it. Ooh, is now the 73 looking to shoot it 3 wide, going into 1 here on the outside of Garrett Fox.
Interesting move there.
Bold move, Cotton. See if it pays off. So the last time he went 3 wide, didn't go too well.
Look at this run the 73 has down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Hunter Hayward and Matt Upbrook on the inside line, they're just a little unsteady, having to really play with the throttle a lot. Allowed the 73 to get a big run, but it's all for naught now as he falls back in the line behind the 85.
Wow, what a run the 73 had. He was able to carry that all the way down the back straightaway all by himself. So that definitely clears up the issues of what we were thinking with his car. So his car is very fast still in that 73. And we'll see here as they got 9 to go here in duel number 1 with Hunter Hayward leading us on the bottom lane, followed by Matt Upbrook and Garrett Fox up top.
Now scanning back through the field, everything looks pretty steady. About side by side, all the way back to roughly 8th position. A little bit of jostling here, guys. You realize, hey, the race is coming to an end here. We got to go. What little patience there was for this short little duel race is quickly going out the window as these laps are winding down.
Quickly winding down as they come out of turn 4 here. They'll be coming to 8 laps to go here in duel number 1. Hunter Hayward in the 21 leading this first duel with Garrett Fox getting the great run down the outside. He's going to lead this lap with 8 to go. Seems like the outside line is the place to be, in my opinion.
It really does, especially with just the 2 cars. It seems like the 16 can't quite get close enough to give Hunter that great of a push to really contend with the 73 and 85 of Garrett Fox and Justin Malarkey. Where now we have the 4 coming up on the inside lane to lend a little bit of a hand in the 11, who's gotten some of his damage repaired. Very surprised by that. He took a hard hit. He's now in the 3rd place on that outside line.
As you can see there, look at that straight shot from the 16 off his front bumper to the 21 of Hunter Hayward there. He gets the nice shot going down to the corner. Hunter Hayward going to clear the top as they exit out turn 4, but that 85 will have another good run as to be coming to 7 to go this time. Hunter Hayward will lead this lap, so they're trading laps back and forth here in duel number 1.
It's shaping up. We may very well see a photo finish here if the 16 can just keep hooked up with the back bumper of Hunter Hayward in that 21 and keep a consistent distance. It's going to be very difficult for Garrett Fox and Justin Malarkey to be able to move around that outside lane. Seeing now, last couple laps, Garrett Fox has been really kind of pinching them down on the inside, making them a little bit nervous, and it's helped them quite a bit here. And see if they can get around that and not have to worry about playing with the throttle too much. Matt Upbrook looking a little bit unsteady getting into the corner as well, but pulling right back up to the bumper of the 21.
Giving a great shot from that 16 to the 21 to give him the run. Hunter Hayward will lead this lap with 6 to go. As you can see the 16 definitely fighting on the bottom there with Matt Upbrook. He's a little bit wiggly, a little loose there through the trival. So definitely lost a little bit of connection there to the 21, but they're going to come fighting back through turn 1 and 2. We'll see how it works out. As actually the 85 blinks out there and there. He's back, and see who can get the run as the outside lane looks a little bit more formed as the 4 might come in here and help the 16 as 21 get a little bit more of a run going down to turn 3.
It was really sketchy looking from Hunter Hayward there for a second. It looked like the 85 of Garrett Fox might just get ahead and be able to cut down, but just had him stuck on the inside and was able to hold on to that position. And I'm sure Hunter realizes what's going on with the 16 behind him, and it's not really what he wants to see. He needs that 16 to be straight and steady, giving him all the pushes that he can to hopefully keep this lead.
5 laps to go in duel number 1 to see who will start on the front row and who this will be your inside lane for our Daytona race next week. So look at a 4 jump to the inside down the back straightaway. Oh no. This could end up in disaster possibly as the 85 clears here the
There
21. Yes, and there it goes. The 16, the 4 wrecking down into the grass. Oh, and there's a
Yellow,
fender,
yellow,
a
yellow.
tire. Oh, and we have a caution here as Garrett Fox will take the lead. So our second caution of the night brought to you by Or Nissan Central. And we'll have to go back here and check out what exactly happened there with 4 laps to go here at Daytona. And here we go as we pull up the Freak Fast replay. There's the 16 and the 4 getting into each other. The 4 made the bold move to get to the inside. Look at that front tire just break on the 16, that left front. Man, oh man, this damage model that iRacing has is not forgiving, as you can see at 16. It may be night over for Matt Upbrook as him in contact between the 16 and the 4 down the back straightaway.
Yeah, that right there comes down to guys with a sense of urgency, and then other guys that realize the race is coming to an end, and they're not willing to give up the room. And stuff like that happens. Part of the excitement and unfortunate circumstance of plate racing.
It definitely is, and so both of those guys are gonna get heavy damage out of that. And also, like it comes down to the fact of, how is the yellow line rule? Because uh the 4, not necessarily, but he did kind of go under the yellow line there, the double yellow line, to get to the inside of that 16, and then from there he kind of got himself back up in there, and the 16 I think didn't really want to give him that spot. So definitely you that one is definitely interesting, and iRacing's uh the way iRacing works, it doesn't, there's no penalty for going below that yellow line and getting to the inside. Something like that is determined by the league, and I'm unsure exactly how they rule that. So we'll have to see. But right now, it's Garrett Fox, Justin Malarkey, Hunter Hayward. Right now, your top 3 drivers in duel number 1, and we'll most likely be going to a green white checkered here.
Yeah, unfortunate for Hunter Hayward. All that going on behind him, separated him from the 16 of Matt Upbrook and allowed Garrett Fox and Justin Malarkey to make that pass. And now coming down to the green white checkered here, there's not a lot of opportunity for Hunter Hayward uh, to get back to the front unless something happens. If he gets a little bit of a worse restart than Garrett Fox, Justin Malarkey decides to jump to the inside. Maybe he can jump outside, but his options are dwindling down in a hurry.
That they are dwindling down here as we are under caution here with our second caution of the evening with 3 to go here at Daytona. And remember, right after this race, we'll be going directly into another duel here at Daytona, duel number 2. So we'll have to monitor how that all plays out and get this one figured up. And while we actually, from when this session ends, we will have a splash screen up with music while we load into the new service, so we can get our software all up and running and get all the camera packs loaded and needed. So don't leave us. Just go take yourself a bathroom break or get you something to drink, something to snack on, because we will be back here on Freak Fast Broadcasting with duel number 2. So make sure right after this one ends not to leave us.
Yeah, if you are enjoying this so far, we got 4 more coming just like it, so don't go anywhere. It's going to be a long night of Daytona sprint races. It should be very entertaining.
And I believe also we will have the duel winner from this race interview them after duel number 2 as well. So we'll because just due to the time, the next session will be up here in the next few minutes for us, so we'll have to immediately jump in there so we can get, like we said, all of our software set up and ready to go before that race kicks off. So whoever wins this race will get to talk to them after duel number 2 finishes.
All right, Zach. So tell me what's your mentality here going into this final restart. Where do you want to be?
For the final restart, I think I want to be on the bottom. But at the same time, if the outside lane forms just well enough at the beginning and they get a massive run, it's hard to say. I like being either Garrett Fox or Justin Malarkey. At least those two know that they have a very good shot at this. Now, the guys from behind there, Kevin Dowd and Hunter Hayward, they're looking at less of a shot just due to the fact they're going to have to get ahead of these guys or make a move to get ahead. And that's kind of tough to do in just 2 laps. So we'll have to see how it shakes out. But I would like to be on that front row, definitely.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. I'd almost prefer to be the 73 at this point because that's my preferred lane. I just like rolling that outside. I don't have to worry about getting pinched down as we go back to green here.
Back to green flag racing we do. Garrett Fox with a great restart. Hunter Hayward, though, also a great restart right to the back bumper. That's going to be a big help for this 85 as they head down to turn 1. You got the 73 of Justin Malarkey directly side by side with these two. Malarkey, not much help there. Back to Kevin Dowd. So I believe the bottom lane's going to be the place to be. Where does Hunter Hayward go, though, if he clears that 73? 73 fighting hard, though, on the outside all by himself.
Gotta hope. Oh, is now we've got, looks like the 12 coming back up in the hand of the 73. Unfortunate for Hunter Hayward. I thought he may have had a really good shot at this. It's a 3 wide behind him.
3 wide behind with the 12, the 57 of Zach Sandlin, Lon Coleman, and Kevin Dowd. As it looks like the outside lane deteriorating. Where does Hunter Hayward go as they come off of turn 4? They'll be taking the white flag this time by. Hunter Hayward jumps to the outside lane. Can he get the run? He'll be side by side as they take the white flag here, brought to you by Sheffield. He says they're wrecking from behind. It's going to be side by side. Who's going to have the help? The 12 of Lon Coleman. Oh, multiple cars wrecking. Where does the 73 of Justin Malarkey go? He sticks to the outside lane. Side by side between Garrett Fox and Malarkey, and Hayward. Garrett Fox jumps down to the bottom with Malarkey. Malarkey's going to give him the shove down the back straightaway. What can Hunter Hayward do? Side drafting down the back straightaway here.
Well, and now it's a 4-car race, but I think if Justin Malarkey can clear the 21 of Hunter Hayward, he's going to be able to make that late move. We saw it work for Hunter last lap by. Let's see if when he decides to make it. He's maybe just a little bit too far back here as we see the 85. Oh, he's
jumps to the outside. The Garrett Fox tries to block it. Does that hold him off? Garrett Fox looking for the win. Garrett Fox wins it 4 wide for the finish, but Garrett Fox will be your winner of duel number 1 here at the ARCA Evolution Series. Congrats to him with Justin Malarkey 2nd, Hunter Hayward 3rd, Kevin Dowd 4th. Now that was awesome finish right there for duel number 1. That just shows you what we got in store tonight with 5 sprint races here at Daytona. And Garrett Fox there with a good bit of left front damage, but guess what? It doesn't matter. It's over for him tonight. He's going to be able to get that thing fixed up before next week's race, and he'll be able to start on that front row and lead us to green next week after winning duel number 1 here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting with the ARCA Evolution Series. And we will be right back as we need to get out of here and go get ready for the next session and get everything set up here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting so we can bring you duel number 2. All right, we are back here, everybody, with our duel number 2 as they are just finishing up their practice session for this duel. And got about 20 seconds left, then we'll head into qualifying and see where these guys place themselves on the grid for duel number 2 to be able to line up that outside row for next week's Daytona race here at the ARCA Evolution Series. So we should have some more fun. As you see the 4-wide finish there from our last duel. That was one heck of a finish, I must say. So I'm sure we'll see something spectacular here. But what do you think we learned throughout that first duel, Brandon, here for us guys?
Well, if anybody, any of these guys, which I imagine they would have been, that are running into who are watching Duel 1, they've learned firsthand what happens if you even give somebody a little bit of a touch. 3 wide's not necessarily the best idea, and things can happen very quickly. What I have learned, and it was something we touched on briefly, was the league's yellow line rule that you talked about. Apparently, the league rule is that you do not advance your position below the yellow line. Ryan was given the driver's briefing just to clarify it, so that helped me out a bunch. That I can relay it to you guys. So thanks, Ryan. Whereas most of the time, especially if you've ever run official, it's an honor system. Everybody knows what the NASCAR rule is. It's not iRacing enforced, but it's generally frowned upon to do so. So it's good to see that the league is taking some steps to prevent the questionable racing incidents.
Yeah, it's an honor system that not a lot of people in iRacing official, I like to say honor.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good to see the league definitely taking that into their own hands and making sure everybody knows, hey, you cannot advance your position down there. And it's a good thing because if you don't have that rule, it's kind of a lawless land, and there's a lot of space down there to go make a move on somebody and then just say, well, it's kind of Russian roulette now. Who's going to fold first?
Yeah, and a lot of guys, they'll see that and they'll be like, no, you went down there, you're off the racing service, so I don't have to let you back onto the racing service. And you get a lot of accidents that way. Just people being, hey, I can make the pass here, and other guys saying, well, no, that's, it's not a real place to make that pass, and I'm not giving you the space. And don't put that kind of a decision in the driver's hands to do. Everybody knows what the track surface is, and they just need to stay on it, and it's pretty simple at that point.
Couldn't have said it better myself. As you see these guys under qualifying now, we're looking at the James Wright putting down his qualifying lap, and as you see, he runs the outside lane here on the very first lap to get that engine nice and wound up with these restrictor plates before he'll go to the bottom on his second lap to get that speed out of it, because you take that farther distance around that outside lane, less wheel in the car, so less force being put in those front tires. So this looks like James Wright's gonna he's gonna drop straight to the bottom. Look, he was slowing down on this. That's the thing with when these cars are by themselves, they almost do look kind of slow.
Yeah, that's a questionable call to go and wind up the car, and then just like, yeah, I'm just gonna turn a really slow lap. I like to start at the back. It's a lot of fun back at a plate track, but if you really want a good shot at winning, I mean, I say that, but we just saw Garrett Fox come from the back to win that last duel race, so it is possible, but you're in a very dangerous position doing that.
Yeah, it's definitely very possible to come from the back to the front, and you can definitely see that happen here as guys are putting down their fast times here. As at the moment, Steve Van C. Marshall is on top of the board with a 49.55. Looks like Dylan Alt will put himself up into the second position with James right there, put himself third as Kel Seaman jumps into the second spot with a 49.56. So very, very close times, separated by hundredths of the second here. Michael Haru up to third. Carl Thompson to first now, 49.52.
Jeff Carson up to third place in the 81 now, knocking Cale down to fourth. And these times all over the place here. It's so close between the top 3 and 4 positions.
That's Daytona for you. Like we alluded to earlier, Steve Potter going to put himself up the second with a 49.53. And I mean, you can see there a 49.52, a 49.53, a 49.55, 49.55, 49.56, 49.57. I mean, you can keep going down the list. It's hundredths of a second here margins at Daytona when you're running wide open. Keep these things on the bottom.
Yeah, it's like a quarter of a quarter of a degree difference in steering angle and that little bit of speed that it costs you. It's a fine art to. It looks really simple qualifying at a plate track, but there's a real science to it. And some guys I've seen come out, and every time I race against them, they qualify on the pole at these plate tracks, and I'm like, you're just holding it wide open. How are you that much faster than me? But there's a lot of stuff you do that matters.
Yeah, it's so close that there's little things that you can do to find that little bit of extra speed. That, like you said, you question yourself saying, "Well, I held it wide open. Why didn't I go fast?" But a lot of it comes down to really how you hold the wheel. How well is your line? You scrubbing off speed. There's a very good skill to the qualifying here, and some people, like you said, Brandon, just have it down to an art. And we got 3, 2, 1. That's the end of your qualifying session there. And it looks like Carl Thompson will start from the pole position here in duel number 2, and he'll be your Sheffield Graphics pole winner as we pull up our qualifying results here from duel number 2. Carl Thompson going to be starting on the pole with the Sheffield Graphics pole award. Second will go to Steve Potter. Third is going to be Steven C. Marshall. Fourth, Jeff Carson. Fifth, there rounding your top 5 is Kel Seaman. Sixth will be Michael Haru. Seventh is Dylan Alt. Eighth will be James Wright. Ninth will go to Buddy Pitts. 10th is Steven Rasick. 11th will be Matthew Dude. 12th is going to go to Chris Claude. 13th is Caleb Kilo. 14th is Christopher Smorol. 15th is Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. And rounding out your field will be Ryan C. White in the 16th position here tonight for duel number 2. And I believe we do actually have this time, we do have our Sheffield Graphics pole winner of Carl Thompson. And we'll see what his thoughts are before we head off into the duel here and get a talk with Mr. Brandon Colley. So here's your pole winner.
Hey, Carl Thompson, it's Brandon up in the booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Well, congratulations on this pole, bud. What is your approach to running this race tonight? Where do you think you really need to be, and how much do you like super speedway racing?
Well, as far as where I need to be, I don't think I need to be sitting in pole position right now. This is definitely not something I'm used to and not familiar with. So we're going to give it our best shot, hopefully stay on the bottom line and hang on to it for 25. I mean, everybody else in the previous race seemed to keep it fairly clean. Had a couple incidents, but hopefully we can go green flag racing here.
That sounds like a good plan, and it's always a little bit easier said than done keeping it clean, but starting up front's a really good way to do that. So before you guys roll off here, going to wish you the best of luck, and hopefully we'll talk to the end of this thing, and hopefully you get a really good starting spot for the race next week.
Well, thank you, Brandon. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Good luck, bud.
All right, that was Carl Thompson, your Sheffield Graphics pole winner here tonight for duel number 2 of the ARCA Evolution Series as they roll off of pit road. I just love that shot right there. That's a nice shot. Gotta commend Robert.
If I remember correctly, wasn't there a certain broadcast, live broadcast that used to do a shot like that on the grid?
I believe so. It would have like the cameraman stand there and they'd all pull off pit road around him and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've seen that. I've seen that one before, but I like it just,
Really cool.
It's a nice shot. Well, we're going to get these guys pacing for one lap here before we set them off and let them free and see what they can do here in duel number 2, because this is going to be another important race here to set up their qualifying order for next week.
Yeah, we saw the last duel race. It's really not important where you're starting, but you got to keep yourself out of trouble to be able to have a chance to win this thing, to get a good starting spot. Because the better you have the better start you have for the big race, the easier it's going to be.
We'll have to see how it all shakes out. But you heard from our pole winner, Carl Thompson there. He wants to stay on the bottom and keep the bottom rolling. So that's his goal here. And, I got to say that's a good strategy. But also we've seen that top lane be very, very strong. So we'll have to watch that shake out too here as these guys head out of turn 4 for the final time on their pace laps. And they'll see that Mustang iRacing pace car there take the hard left turn down to pit road, hopefully where they don't want to end up, and we will take these boys green flag racing here at the ARCA Evolution Series. Green is out, and they're off and away with Carl Thompson leading us to that green flag. Looks like Steve Potter there getting a very good start on the outside lane with with Jeff Carson actually there, I believe, in the 74, or no, sorry, Jeff Carson in 81 there getting a great start on the outside also. So the outside lane went really good there.
Little bit of wiggle so far. A little shakeup on the start here. It was a lot calmer in the first race. These guys, guess, got a little bit excited watching that first and said, "Come on, guys, we want to get after it."
Well, that's the thing. You sit here and watch that first race as one of those drivers, and it can kind of get you ramped up for this next heat race or dual race. So it's always interesting watching duels. Look at Dylan Olt. He's making it 3 wide in the middle there. And he's going to make that work, it looks like, and get to the outside lane, lead that outside lane in that 42 car.
Pretty much just charging all by himself up through the field here, already looking to contend for the lead. But I think Steve Potter, Jeff Carson, they're going to say, hey, you're not going to be able to do this by yourself.
Yeah, he's put Michael Haru there in the 7 up 3 wide. But I tell you what, that 42 made a power move if I've seen one. We'll see how he does here. See if he can get this lead, because he had a great run by himself, really, and now he's gonna get a little bit of help here from the 7 of Michael Haru. He's got the nose out ahead going down to turn 3 and 4 here, but I think that 81 Jeff Carson should pull back ahead, and it looks like the 7 ducking out a little bit in the corners.
Yeah, just a little bit. Not quite stable. I don't know if he's just not liking the way that the car is handling. Hasn't really been able to find that sweet spot for where he wants to run. I'm also noticing, Zach, these guys, they seem to be giving each other a little bit more room than we saw in Duel 1. I think they may have learned just a little bit from that and trying to just prevent any type of bumper-to-bumper contact here that might cause somebody to lose control.
Early racing here, hard for the lead. Jeff Carson, Dylan Holt on the outside lane with Michael Haru up top with Dylan in the 94 of Steve Potter there on the bottom. Looks like pole sitter Carl Thompson there already got kind of swamped back to the 5th position, 3rd car on the bottom lane.
Well, talking about Dylan Alt, he had the position.
Wow.
For the pull down is now Michael Haru is going to leave him out there. Let the 8 of James Wright pull up and try to help out the 42 get to the lead. But he had the lead going into turn 3 and decided not to take it. I'm sure seeing the 7 hop down and leave him out there, he probably wished he had. Oh, as we got back.
Oh, no, the big incident here in this early start to duel number 2, and you can see they're all spinning down the backstretch, hoods up, everything. It's calamity out of turn 2 here on lap number 4.
Poor Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. I was watching to see if anybody made it through that, and he got by on the apron and was just kind of cruising along, getting ready to get back up to the field, and the car just comes sliding out of nowhere in front of him on the apron and ruined the nose of his car. So bad break for him and a lot of these guys.
Yeah, as you can see here on the Freaky Fast replay, look at this, the 24 of Buddy Pitt's hard hit. Wow, right in front of Caleb Kilo. Just multiple cars. Pole sitter Carl Thompson, 14 of Christopher Schmerol. It was a big wreck there, and I tell you, it all started right around that 3rd and 4th position with Steve Potter there. A little bit of contact between him and Carl Thompson, and that started it all. And that's our first or Nissan Central caution of duel number 2 here tonight. So quick wreck here early, and the thing is, you get these wrecks like this. The first duel went all the way to about lap I believe it was, correct me if I'm wrong, about 10 or 12 before we had a wreck, and that can kind of shake stuff up to where you have a shorter race at the end and it gets a little more wild. But these early cautions I've seen before in duels where it's calmed everything down with a quick caution early and everybody just waits till almost the last moment to start making stuff happen. Or it could just speed up that process of these guys being a little bit less patient.
Yeah, I've seen it go both ways as well. Guys be like, oh, well, I barely missed that wreck. That was really lucky. It's just kind of take it easy and things settle down quite a bit. But then at the same time, they're like, hey, if we're just going to, if this whole race is going to depend on how good of a restart I can get, I got to go. You never really know until the green flag's up. And, there's a little bit of contact going on the pit road between the 14, and I'm not sure who that was. But you really don't know how they're going to approach it until they get up to speed about going into turn 3. That's really when you can say, hey, they're going to settle down, or oh man, somebody's through wide already.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens here heading forward in duel number 2 right now is Jeff Carson earlier with Dylan Alt in the second position, Michael Haru in third. It's pretty exciting stuff here already at the duel number 2 here at Daytona International Speedway. And this kind of alludes to what we're going to see next week. This is a good learning process, especially for us, not only as commentators and fans out there, but also these drivers for what they need to look forward to for next week to be really, really quick in these races.
And Zach, I want to point out that during that wreck, I don't think it was necessarily anyone's fault.
Yeah.
It looked somebody had maybe just a net issue. Looked like something was going on with their car because I saw a bunch of sparks. And we talked about at the beginning of Duel 1 how limited the visibility is. Somebody in front of you checks up. It's really hard to notice what they're checking up for, and you just can't check up in time. And it just seemed like it was a little bit of an accordion effect. And really, that's all it takes. It's just some miscommunication and not being able to see can cause a real problem when there really wasn't one to start.
Yeah, like you said, it's really this place has stuff happen so fast. Like you're going to see contact between people that was never even. It just happens. So a little checkup happens, and all of a sudden, boom, you're in the back of someone or you're in the side of someone. So a lot of times, it's you get consequences for stuff that you really didn't mean to do. So it's tough racing out here. Daytona can always be pretty wild. That's why we always call it a crapshoot. It's pretty much gambling when it comes to racing.
Well, Daytona, like life, comes at you fast, and sometimes it's not a really good result. You come out a little bit sore.
Yeah, that's for sure. Not only can you come out of your sore, but your feelings can be hurt too. Because this place will, it don't care about feelings.
It's a really high-speed short track in that regard.
That's very true, and it can tear you up. That's for sure. As we get these guys back double file, 1 lap to green here before we get this thing duel number 2 back underway. And we'll have 18 laps to go to decide who starts on top of that top row. So, and shout out to Kevin Dowd out there saying great broadcast, guys. Thank you very much, Kevin. Thank you for being a great racer out there too, and letting us put on a show like this for all the fans.
Now, Zach, they have to have at least one fast repair.
No.
Because look at. Okay. I see a little bit of damage because the front end of the 48 that I was talking about, Robert Fitzpatrick Sr., it looked like he had a brand new car, and then I could see a little bit of wrinkle on the right front. I was surprised by how well these cars get patched up after an incident like that.
Yeah, he's got a good crew in the 48 team.
Okay, I'm getting chastised by Ryan Azell now. Out there doing race control, telling me I should know better than that. They're hardcore here, no fast repairs.
That's right, man. No fast repairs, no freebies here. That's why we love Evolution recently. Here's the iRacing pace car pulls in. We're gonna get things back kicked off with 18 to go here. Jeff Carson will take the green flag, led the way through the first stage right here, and Dylan Alt working his way around the outside. This guy made some pretty big moves there in that 42 to get himself up in position to fight for this as he started 7th and was quickly able to work up to that top lane. Let's see what he can do as Michael Haru helping Jeff Carson there on the bottom with James right in the 8 and Kelsey.
Yeah, bottom lane forming up pretty well. Steven Racing in the 2, not quite sure where he's going to go. Kale, it looks like he's second guessing himself as well, but the 8 of James Wright decided to stick it out there on the outside with Dylan Alt in 42, try to get him back up to the front here. It's been really good racing at the front, side by side. Just look really close to some contact there between our leader and second place.
Wow, yeah, riding on board here with Dylan Alt. He's had some great runs, almost completely by himself. And that comes down to him just really personally holding a steady wheel and doing a great job to work the outside lane.
Oh, absolutely. He's been pretty much just dead center of the track all the way around, lap after lap, and not wavering too much off it unless he feels like he really needs to avoid something. Just incredibly smooth. And I'll also point out, it's a lot easier to be that smooth when you don't have a car in front of you. Anybody, I'm sure Zach can attest to it. Anybody that's done a bit of plate racing, and you can tell that you gauge where you are on the track because of your visibility, based on what the car in front of you is doing. And if they're turning, subconsciously it makes you turn.
You really do. You base yourself off that car ahead of you, and you can't see first of all when you're behind these guys. These ARCA cars, the visibility is a little bit better. I feel like in than some of the cars we have. The Cup car is especially bad with the huge giant spoiler on the back, but you really just can't see nothing ahead of you. So you're kind of basing yourself off the car in front of you, and it's tough to follow here, man. It can put yourself in some pretty sticky situations.
Absolutely, you just have a slight bobble thinking. I've had it happen personally. I've caused a big wreck just thinking I was somewhere else on the track than I actually was, and it's really easy to do. And it's an irritating mistake to make, but it's a very honest one at that.
Great racing here so far. We're becoming the 15 to go this time by, with Jeff Carson still leading the bottom lane, Dylan Alt still leading the top lane. Seems like if the top two get out front, these lanes, you kind of can you fight back and forth through. The bottom surges forward through the corner, and the top surges through off down the straightaways.
It seems like you really need something to happen if you're on the top, to that guy that's pushing, to really get a good enough run to solidly clear the leader, or just the guy leading the inside lane. Dylan, he's getting great runs off the corner. Here's oh no.
Oh, some contact there between the 42 and the it looks like the 8. Maybe it's hit the 42
Yeah.
down a little bump, and that's gonna hurt Jeff Carson the most.
Yeah, there's a bit of discussion on the track. Dylan Alt saying before that happened, don't bump me, don't bump me. Just a little bit of contact. Great save by Dylan. Unfortunate incident there. Who was that?
Jeff Carson.
Yeah, it is frustrating as an incident as you could have. I've been taken out of the lead quite a few times. Just no fault really of anybody. It's just a victim of circumstance, unfortunately.
And look at the third car in the bottom lane. That's Carl Thompson there in the 66R Pulsator. He was involved in that wreck not too long ago. So he's worked himself back into contention here in the 66. And that just shows you, you can never give up at these plate tracks. Just because you get caught up in something and your crew can fix that thing, get back out there and have a decent race here. Is right now we're becoming to 13 to go with Dylan Alt leading this thing. And it like you said, the thing about Dylan saying, don't bump me. Yeah, that's, Jeff Carson there on the bottom lane really had nothing he could do. It just, the 42 got a nice shot from the 8 there and sent him straight left into the door of Jeff Carson, who really paid the price for all that.
And I cannot say enough how great of a save that was from the 42. Generally, if you take a hit to that particular part of the car, especially really close to that left rear tire, you're going to go around. And to hit Jeff Carson as hard as he did to send Jeff down to the infield and not lose that car was a great job, and it could have been a whole lot worse.
It definitely could have been, my friend. And what a save also. He went below the apron with that save and had to come back up on the racetrack. So that was not only just the first save, but the second save controlling that thing back up onto the banking. So great job by the 42 there to show off his skill with the 7 of Michael Haru side by side with him. Bell Seaman there on the bottom, James Wright in the outside, Carl Thompson in the bottom, with Steven Rasick also working his way into the picture in that 2 machine.
We've got a lap car coming up here, holding on. Looks like he's finally going to make his way to the apron here. Great job by Steven in the 74.
Yeah, great job there getting out of the way. Not going to have no issues here. Just trying to get a better finish than possibly can here, and we'll see how it all works out. Looks like the 7's going to have a good run.
Yeah, I don't know if it was maybe just a little jumble. They realized the lap car was coming up. Guys got a little bit uneasy, but it really opened up the door for the 7 of Michael Haru. The 8 was working really well with him here, and now the 8's probably going to... So, is Dylan making that late? Oh, little bumper contact.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say that might have been a little too late there. Possibly, as the 8 there wasn't able to check up, and that sent the 42 straight directly right to the wall. And hard contact for that 42. That's going to hurt his chances at anything in this race.
That's part of the risk you take, especially with these ARCA cars and how awful bumper to bumper contact is. If you make a late move like that, you've got to trust that the guy that you're making the move on is not going to just run you over, and that you've got enough space to do it. Uh, say the cup car or the truck. That's a move that you can make and be like, okay, go ahead and hit me. All it's going to do is benefit me, and not worry about it too much. First hand right there, just a little bit of contact, and unfortunately, looks like the race for the 42 was pretty much over.
Yeah, he's definitely going to need a caution now as he's already lost the draft back to 11th now. But the battle up front still ensuing with Kale Seaman there trying to make the move around the outside in the 17, the 2 there, Steve Rasick there on the bottom with Michael Haru. The 8 of James Rice up top, Carl Thomas up top now too. The 48 of Robert Fitzpatrick Jr. there working his way into. Remember, he had some damage too. So some damaged race cars working their way into here.
I can't say enough about this damage model for these ARCA cars. That a lot of that contact, it was race ending on previous damage models, and the fact that they could take those hard hits, go in and just take a little bit to get it repaired under caution and still have this much speed is incredible.
It really, really is incredible to see. Let's say it's 17 as they work past the 11 lap traffic here. Looks like he's got a good run, but just not enough help.
Yeah, he made a very similar move, Cale Seaman in the 17 did, to that of the 42 of Dylan Alt. Just got clear of the 8 and decided to jump out of line and didn't quite have enough of a run. Oh, it was contact with the...
Oh, that's heavy contact too, and oh, that may bring out a caution. Yeah, here it is. Caution is out. Man, oh man. What a wreck that was. Is that our second or Nissan Central caution? We'll go back on the Freak Fast replay. It looks like it started all around the 2 and the 17. A little bit of contact between those two. And then boom, the 55 comes into the picture of Matthew Dude. Had nowhere to go. Hard collision between those drivers.
Well, there is the caution that the 42 of Dylan Alt needed to be able to fix a little bit of that damage from the wall contact, but I'm sure we'll see him back up there in no time based on what we've seen out of other guys who've had a lot more serious contact, so no biggie for him. I'm sure he's still not happy about it, but his speed should be just fine. And to that wreck, it was very close to being a save. It was just a slight overcorrection, and then things went awry. But so far, these guys have been really, really good at avoiding somebody who's gotten out of shape like that. It's been a really good showing of driving ability here.
It really, really has. So great job by them. As like we said, we're under the second caution of duel number 2, and it's just slight contact that led to that. But like you said, I think the 42 is going to be pretty happy about that. Get himself back in contention for this thing. But looks like Michael Haru there in the first. You got Robert Fitzpatrick Senior, sorry, and then Carl Thompson there in the 3rd position with James Wright 4th, and Ryan C. White in the 5th position.
Wouldn't that be something? Robert Fitzpatrick Senior comes out here and wins this race after that unfortunate contact during the first wreck.
That'd be pretty cool to see it. He's still got a decent bit of front damage, but that car's been fine personally from what I've seen run-wise.
Yeah, charged back up really quickly and was hanging in pretty tough. And the big thing is that you can have damage on your nose and still be fast in the draft, but you really don't know what kind of speed you've got until you hit that clean air leading a line. Then you can really find out, well, hey, do I have a chance to win this thing, or am I just kind of resigned to pushing somebody else and maybe just trying to get second?
Never want to resign to second here, especially in the qualifying race.
So, all things considered, starting on the second row at a plate track is not the worst thing.
Yeah, not too bad. And, this race, in my opinion, is more of a race where you learn things. I would use this as a learning session to be like, all right, this is how I need to make this run. This is how I need to push people. This is how I need to, get to where I need to be. Because personally, just looking at it, it's, stay up front is nice to be at Daytona. but a lot of times that's where things happen. So you never want to be right in the mix of things sometimes like that.
Yeah, I know. Just due to racing together for quite a while now, especially these plate tracks, you and I've got about the same mentality when it comes to how we approach them. Is that we don't want to be in the front until we have to be. We just want to take it easy and just let the race unfold and not get caught up in something and be there at the end, which is really what you have to do to have a shot to win this thing. You just need to be there at the end.
Yeah, it's a mentality that I've always had at these places. I'm always the type of dude that just rides in the back end and waits for that moment, and I know when to go. And sometimes it plays out for you very nicely when you do that, because then people ahead of you start messing up and they start wrecking. But sometimes it can actually completely ruin your race. So I've had times where it works. I've had times where it doesn't. There's two different strategies out there, and I've raced with people who have the completely opposite. They want to lead every lap. That's kind of what I call the Dale Jr. mentality. If you can get a position, get it. Because they look at it as you're putting yourself in a position to keep moving forward, and that'll hopefully keep you out of trouble. But I've always been one of the type that I just like to sit back and wait type deal.
It's as the leader, you've really only got to worry about one or two guys that could wreck you. Running at the back, you give yourself a little bit more room, but then you're in the position where you've got to worry about the entire field ahead of you wrecking you. So it's it's a lot of trial and error, just seeing what works for you and where you're comfortable and what ends up working out through your experiences. And that's the one thing I love the most about the plate racing, Zach, is that there's no real surefire way to run the race.
No, there's not. There's no perfect way to strategize your way for plate racing. So it's always just kind of deal with what you got to do. So yeah, it's one of the things. But we shouted out the sponsors in the first duel. I also want to give you guys to go check out the descriptions there, where you can find the Freaky Fast website, the Freaky Fast broadcasting merch, where you can get some nice old merch there from Redbubble, from Freaky Fast, and you also can check out our website, which Robert just made, and gotta give Robert a round of applause for that, because that man is always good at making websites and things pretty like that. And you can go out there and check it out. And also, if you can give us a testimonial where you let people know what your thoughts are about Freaky Fast broadcasting, it would be awesome. And we also have out in the chat here too, I'll get this posted in the YouTube chat also, is our live timing and scoring that you can follow on for our broadcasting software. Pretty much you can follow what lap times your drivers run and where your favorite drivers at. If you just go to that link, it has everything there, and it gives you a good source of information if we're not directly looking at the driver you want us to look at.
Yeah, and get to see exactly what we see as we're calling races, because honestly, that's what I look at. That's pretty. I know Zach has got a couple other things that he looks at, but I follow just the live timing that we've got available for you guys, and it's very helpful. Like Zach said, if we're not directly looking at somebody and you're not sure where your favorite driver's at, quick look there, and you'll know right away.
Yeah, it's pretty helpful. It's a nice thing to have. I mean, it shows you the best lap, when they last pitted, how many pits they made, their last lap, the gap. There's so much information there with that link, and it also takes you to our website also. So that's really cool to have. So yeah, you can go check that out there, and we'll make sure to get that linked up to you here for the cup race later on. But yeah, man, it's a really cool feature that we have here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting with SDK Gaming. So shout out to them. We're pacing down the back straight. We're going to have 3 to go here when we take the green flag and get this duel number 2 all wrapped up.
Well, we had to delay the green flag an extra lap. I think there was some issues with scoring, guys needing to catch back up. Got it all sorted now, ready to go. And I tell you, for as much as that caution helped Dylan all, it really hurt him, because he doesn't have a lot of time now to get back up to the front, and he's going to have to be making a lot of aggressive moves where guys are going to be defending pretty aggressively.
Yeah, not a lot of time, but 3 laps, it's time still at Daytona. It's not a lot, but it's still time, I guess. So pace car is going to pull off here. We're going to have the green flag waving as Michael Haru leads us to that, with Carl Thompson there pushing him on the bottom, with Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. there up top. And I think that's where Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. is going to feel that damage most, is when he's out in clean air by himself. as right now the front four all get single filed out and drop on the bottom lane. And that's something you're not going to want to see if you want to go forward.
Absolutely not. I'm really impressed. Carl Thompson, our pole setter, that early wreck he was involved in, but right up here to second place, still in contention, as we see Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. Hopping out of line here, trying to get that second lane going. And with that nose damage, it's going to be really interesting to see exactly how much speed he can still get out of that thing and potentially win this race, because it ain't over yet.
That is not over yet here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. If there's ever one thing you know here on Freaky Fast, it ain't over till the fat lady sings, and she has not sung yet. That's for sure. As we come to 2 to go here at the Daytona International Speedway for duel number 2, with the 48 of Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. leading that lap, really 8 thousandths ahead of Michael Haru. So this is going to be a close finish. Taking it to the middle lane, and there's going to be some contact of 42 involved, and that's going to send him spinning around, and that's going to be our third caution of this evening here, brought to you by Or Nissan Central. We'll have to go back and check that one out on the Freaky Fast replay, because that was a wild wreck.
That was those aggressive moves that I was talking about that Dylan Holt was going to have to make, and unfortunately, it just didn't work out very well.
You see there, Dylan Holt sits spinning around there, and he tried to make that middle lane work, and just a little bit of contact from the car on the bottom lane, and that sent him right around. And I don't know, not sure what car that was. It looks like it was the 72, I believe, or
I believe it was the 12 of Ryan White.
oh yeah, 12 of Ryan White. Yes, it was. A little contact between the 12 of Ryan White and Dylan Holt, and that's going to send the 42 around, and that's most likely going to end his chances at a decent finish here with some heavy contact to the wall.
Yeah, really good learning experience as well. You know, we talked about using this as almost a practice race. I mean, it means something. You really want to get a good finish here to put yourself in a good qualifying position for the race next week. But you got to think about it like a practice race. You know, take a little bit more risks than you normally would and see what you can learn from it. Just try different things and put it to good use next week. And I think a lot of these guys are going to see what just happened there and store that one in the memory bank and say, hey, I could do this. But I remember what happened. It probably is not going to work out very well. We might see it later in the race, but I don't think we're going to see it very early come next week.
Yeah, it's that's a good thing. Always got to store those ones in the memory bank, my friends. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. But I tell you what, here we're going to be going to overtime for this duel number 2, and it's going to be overtime like we had earlier. So I have 2 laps to get it done, and we'll have to see. I mean, we had a 4-wide finish last time, so stuff is very possible here. Anybody still has a shot that has this thing still rolling out here.
Yeah, as we saw, they were all checked up on the backstretch there. There was a bit of confusion as to who should have been the leader, and Michael Haru, like myself, thought the 48 of Robert Fitzpatrick had it. But apparently the scoring has Michael Haru as our leader, and the 48 is going to restart in second place again and see if he can pull off a bit of the same restart he had. He really needs to nail this one.
Yeah, it's gonna be very critical for Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. there to do the best job he can to get a great restart here. But I tell you what, he had the lead last time after a lap after restarting, so we could see that 48 possibly pull this thing off. I mean, even with that damage, that would be so impressive for him to be able to do that.
Oh, absolutely. And the one bad thing about these restarts at the plate tracks is you can make moves the first lap after the restart, but they're a lot slower and harder to pull off just because the cars are not fully wound up. And you really have only got one solid lap to try to pull off something big, especially if you're outside the first 2 rows on the restart, where you've really got to make up a good chunk of positions.
We also had Stephen Marshall there getting the wave around in the 74 or for the lucky dog. So he is able to get himself back on that lead lap there. So we have 11 cars now on the lead lap. I also believe that Dylan Holt, he brought it down the pit road. He's going to get that thing fixed up and see what he can do possibly. And that 42 is really only the left side of that car was hurt.
It wasn't all that bad considering it's more so just loss of track position and the limited amount of laps we have. We have 2 attempts at the green-white checkered. This will be the first one here as the lights on the pace car are out. 1 lap to go. Also want to give a shout out Mike Martino on Facebook saying let's go James Wright in the number 8. Going to be second place on the outside row. So really good shot for him to win this thing. Same with Kevin Sabilla rooting on James Wright. So he's the fan favorite for this dual race, it seems.
You took the words from me, Brandon, because I was literally just about to say we must got a fan favorite now, James, right out here for this duel, because we got people rooting him on there in that 4th position in that 8 car.
Been right there the whole race.
Yeah, he has. He really has. He's gonna have a good shot here. So we'll have to see what he can do here in that number 8 machine.
Oh, man, my heart's pumping and I ain't even driving these things.
Yeah, this is the money time right here. This is where you get your this is where they say you get the paycheck. So let's see what these guys can do here to finish out duel number 2 and set the final lineup for Daytona next week in these ARCA cars.
Okay, so same question I asked you last duel. Which driver would you rather be right now? The 48 or the 7?
I think the 66 actually sits in a good spot. From what I've seen in the last duel, Hunter Hayward was able to get to the outside lane and get the move done, but he just didn't have the help. There was also less cars running at the end of that duel. So I think the outside lane should have a little more help this time. We'll have to see, but I think the 66 is going to be one to watch here as the pace car pulls off this time. Michael Haru going to lead us back green flag racing with 2 laps to go here at Daytona to sort out duel number 2. Does Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. jump back to the bottom? No, he decides better to go to the top. Look at Carl Thompson. He jumps up to the top. 3 cars to 1. He makes the pass.
Yeah, that was a really great move. Personally, I would have tucked inside, but he saw that he didn't have any help on the inside, and then the 66 decided to go along with him. Had a lot better of a run and a little bit more help, and just decided to pull him along, but he leaves the 66 out, and now he's looking like he's going to drop back.
Yeah, 66, great run down the back straightaway. Here comes the 8. Here comes, I believe, also the 53, Albert Hewins.
Unfortunately, 53, not any help behind him. Couldn't quite clear the 48 to pop down in line, but James Wright, Carl Thompson, our pole sitter, currently leading this race, and fan favorite, it seems, in the 8 car. He's right there in contention. Got a really good shot to pull off this move with 1 lap to go here.
Yeah, the white flag brought to you by Sheffield Graphics here. Who's going to win the Sheffield Graphics Race Winner Award? We'll have to see here for duel number 2 to start alongside Garrett Fox next week at Daytona. One final time, can our pole sitter Carl Thompson pull this off? He's got the lead at the moment. James Wright jumps to the top. He's got the help of Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. Here comes Michael Haru for the help of the 66. Oh, he decides to go to the bottom lane. Oh, no, this might be bad, guys. Yep. The 8, though. The 8's going to stay clear. Michael Haru in second. The wrecking ensues from the back on. Carl Thompson's involved. James Wright, though, is going to be your race winner here for duel number 2 in the ARCA Evolution Series.
Man.
Wow. That's that was a finish right there, brother.
Yeah, gloves are off on the white flag lap, and if there's a gap, you go for it. I don't know if there was a little bit of a move below the line. I don't know if the admins will be looking at that at all, but yeah, it's just part of the plate racing mentality, man. You just gotta go. Great win by
man, oh man, yeah, great win by James Wright, the Sheffield Graphics race winner there. James Wright bringing home duel number 2 victory here. So he'll start on the outside row for next week's Daytona race to kick off the season. And he should bring it on down here and celebrate here at the World Center of Racing here at Daytona. But we have 2 duel winners we'll get ready to have a chat with here in a moment. So we got Garrett Fox, our duel 1 winner, and we also have James Wright in the 8 car, duel number 2 winner. So got 2 happy men for sure.
Oh yeah, James Wright's burning it down.
That he is. That's for sure, my friend. He's burning them down, and looks like we'll take a break real quickly to get everything set up for duel number 2 winner. All right, we're back here, and we'll get a chat in here with our dual winners here tonight from the ARCA Evolution Series to see what their thoughts are going into next week at Daytona. And this is dual number 1 winner. I must remind y'all is Garrett Fox. Hey, Garrett, Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy? Hey, Garrett, Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, Garrett, well, man, congrats on your dual number 1 win here tonight. So you'll be able to start from that front row inside lane next week here at the ARCA Evolution Series for Daytona. How was the racing out there in dual number 1 for you, Garrett?
Racing was pretty good. Stayed clean for the most part. Horrible qualifying lap. Started dead last, I think. And didn't really expect much out of it. That was actually the first plate race I've ever done in my life. So I didn't expect much. Just wanted to learn, try to not wreck out, stay in it, and went as good as it probably possibly could have. So it was a whole lot of fun.
Hey, they say the first time for everything. I can tell you what, that's great to see you get your win here in the duels for your first plate race, man. So congrats on that. Next week we come right back here to Daytona in the ARCA cars. Do you feel like since it was your first race in a plate race like this, do you feel like you learned anything valuable going into next week for the race?
Yeah, I think I learned a whole lot. We've done 6-2 designs, the team. We've done a lot of practice sessions and stuff here lately, and we've run the league practice sessions and a lot of that. So I've gotten a lot of practice laps in and run with groups and stuff, but a lot more stressful when you're in the race. Definitely learned a lot. The guys I'm running with are really clean. Just can't thank Ryan enough for putting this league on and making the rules so strict, and everybody just has a great time and a lot of good clean drivers.
That it is, Garrett. It was a great duel number 1, also a great duel number 2. So you'll be starting on the front row next week, leading us to green. That'll be exciting, man. Anybody want to send a shout out to before we let you go and celebrate your dueling here tonight?
Yeah, you guys, first of all, for putting this on, letting all the fans, everybody watch at home. Ryan, Ezel, and everybody else who's putting the Evolution Racing Leagues on, do a great job. Cody McCauley, 6-2 Designs Racing, all my teammates, everybody that's helped me out, taught me what I needed to know for this restrictor plate stuff. And Simon Grills, my spotter, he did a great job. I definitely needed him in that one. Don't know if I would have made it past halfway without him. So a lot of fun. Can't wait to run next week.
Awesome stuff, Garrett. Congrats on your win here tonight, buddy, and we will catch you next Tuesday night.
All right, thank you guys.
Hope you have a good night, buddy. All right, that was your duel number 1 winner there of Garrett Fox. He'll lead us to the green next week here, so congrats to that. But now we got our duel number 2 winner who will start alongside him in the 8 car, James Wright, fan favorite out there at the end of this race. So glad to see what his thoughts are on the win here tonight. Hey, James, it's Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Gotcha.
Hey, James, well, what a finish there, man. You were able to bring it home for the victory in that number 8 machine tonight. How was the racing out there in duel number 2?
It was a lot of fun. The S-line line was moving pretty good. Just try to stay out in front. After watching the first duel, I figured not a lot of passing.
Yeah, oh, sorry about that, buddy.
Go ahead.
Well, we seen there a lot of good racing there. Like you said, the outside lane looked pretty good. I just asked Garrett the same thing after he won duel 1. you feel like you learned anything tonight with the ARCA cars that you can carry into next Tuesday night to use in that full race?
Really just being around everybody, getting used to everybody, seeing how everybody else races around each other. That's really all you can take away from this race. Other than that, every race is pretty much different.
Yeah, very correct, very correct. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens next week here at Daytona. But I can tell you one thing, you did a great job tonight, and you put yourself in position to start up front next week and have a pretty good looking position there from the start of that race. So, man, congrats on the victory here in duel number 2 for the ARCA Evolution Series. Anybody want to send a shout out to before we let you go and celebrate this thing?
Just like to thank my teammates and thank Ryan for putting the lead together. Thank you guys for the broadcast.
Well, thank you. Oh, sorry, James, get my bad.
Hopefully I get to talk to you guys a lot more this year.
Awesome stuff, James, man. Well, congrats on the victory here tonight, and we will catch you next Tuesday, man, and you have a great night.
All right, thanks, you too.
All right, that was James right there, your race winner for duel number 2 here at the ARCA Evolution Series. What a finish it was here for James Wright to start on the front row. A wild finish all the way down to the end for both duels. So what a night it was here for the ARCA Evolution Series. But I just want to let everybody know we will be back live here at 9 p.m. Eastern. So within the next 15 minutes, we will be live and ready to go for the Cup Series Clash Race, where you got the top drivers from last season going to battle, trying to win that Clash Race with prize on the line. And we'll explain all that as we get to that. But yeah, we will be back. We got to get everything set up. So thank you all for tuning in. It's been a great race here at the ARCA Evolution Series, but we'll catch you again here in the next 15 minutes at Daytona International Speedway with the RSR Cup Series.